Hey, how's it going? I'm Blogger the Hut, and this is every new droid in Skeleton Crew. First off, we have this kind of gardening droid, this basically just a pair of legs pushing a lawnmower. Then we have the safety droids that are just sort of everywhere on AT-ATing. We see them here helping kids get off the school bus. And they're just everywhere. Here's patrolling in the woods, looking for kids who are bunking off school. And then we see a bit closer their heads there with just the giant sort of camera eye as they supervise naughty kids in schools, just every level of law enforcement. Then we see at night, they've got these little torches built into their eye as they look through the darkness. Get a closer look there as they switch them off. Then they're pretty free-ranging, pretty autonomous in terms of their authority. Here's one just like walking all the way across the city after investigating to come and tell the parents. We get a close look. It's also got this kind of antenna, presumably connecting it to the supervisor. And yeah, they're kind of a pretty big authority force on the planet, but not really equipped to deal with panicky parents. We see them again acting as law enforcement here in Wim's office, as detecting his activity on the computer. And I love this scene where the droid's just like, yeah, I'm not stupid, you've got something behind your back. And then they're equipped to report to higher authority, but then they can be overridden, as we see here by Fern's mother. And then we see that they do have the authority to gun down civilians, albeit with stun blasters, but pretty crazy for a kind of nice civilian planet to have their droids willing to shoot down people just for disobeying orders. And yeah, we see better here, they are equipped with these stun rifles. I do like the design of these weapons. And we see them use these weapons as they get activated to try and take out Jod. But then clearly they're a bit like battle droids connected to the supervisor, because as soon as the supervisor is taken out, they just go dead. Next we have these kind of teaching/nanny droids. We see one here taking a class on AT-ATing. I do wonder if all the education is delivered by droids. So we see this one here kind of handing the class over to Fern's mum. See, they're pretty cold as they just make fun of Wim for wanting to help people. We also see one here being used as sort of a nanny droid at Fern's apartment. And again, how she can override it by manipulating its programming. And then we get a look at the full body there with that kind of unipod design. And again, here in the school exam hall as it rolls along on this wheel, the kind of humanoid top to it. And then the absolute legend that is SM-33, the old pirate droid. We see him here all sort of junked and scrapped as the ship's been abandoned for years and years. And then the detail that he's been sort of abandoned and rusting there for so long that he's got this little creature who lives in his eye socket. It freaks everyone out. And then we see him come to life as the ship's activated his one remaining photoreceptor. Branches sticking out of him because he's been buried there for so long. I do love the way his neck extends so much. And again, the sort of the detail that Fern's able to sort of use logic to override his programming, convincing him that she's killed the previous pirate captain. And therefore he just accepts that as a code and is like fiercely loyal to her. See, there's obviously a pretty capable pilot, presumably the main pilot of the ship there. We see his fingers, this humanoid fingers able to... Oh, and the nice little detail there, the way his arm bends backwards. Like the cables there coming out of his head, connecting to the rest of his body. Now we see him go into full combat mode, the way his arms extend. His reflexes just able to really just like demolish these pirates. And that little droid. And then he's got these deployable shields in both arms that fan out, able to absorb blaster bolts pretty easily. And then pretty gruesome way that he uses the heated up. I do love as well the fact that he's kind of got a replacement leg, like a proper old-fashioned pirate. And they're susceptible to ion blasts. And I just love his interactions with Jod. There we are, just the way it makes himself taller to be more imposing. Just the way his memory's been scrambled. I think Nick Frost said he reckons it's because the snowball thing in his head's been chewing away at all his wires, making him forget stuff. It's just this bit where he comes back just to say "I." It's just, I just love him. I love just the details of him, the way he's literal with his can't say I remember no at-in, so he's literally been programmed to say that he can't remember at-in. And again, there's just this scene where he's willingly lying there as they're interrogating him, and then when they're ready to go, he just gets up and snaps all the ropes. He's just an absolute legend. And he's just like moaning at the fact that they ruined his pirate thing, and then the restraining bolt on him as he just wants to kill everyone there and he can't do it. We see there that he can obviously adapt his photoreceptor to be a torch. And then I love this scene again, the fact that he just likes the kids, so that unclaims these he decides is good enough, and he takes out Captain Silver and the rest of the pirates. And as much as it's his programming logic, it's clearly that he likes the kids. And then this shocking moment when Jod takes him out with a lightsaber, and then the triumphant return as he comes back with his body piloting the Onyx Cinder while KB holds his head up. Like a truly headless pirate come back from the dead. Just epic, and just love him to death. Then some droids on Port Borgo. We have these kind of little security attack droids floating around as one shows it demonstrating it, and then another guy gets attacked by it. These little arms and saws that come out of them. In this scene, behind this droid that's lying on the table, we see a humanoid droid in the background. You can just about make it out. And a few more droids in the background of this shot. On the left, you can see a kind of humanoid droid that's sort of strapped to a chair. See its legs on the left there, as Jod's moving around. And then a slightly better look at the full body there. You can see it's strapped down to a chair. Then a couple of sort of gonky type droids. We've got a small one at the front with a big red eye, and then possibly one behind, or it may just be some junk. Can't quite tell. And then we have this cute little white droid just behind Jod there. You can see its little head with the two photoreceptors. Kind of a round, squat body. Can't really see what its legs or whatever looks like. And then just in the doorway at the background, you can see another sort of little gonky looking one next to the yellow combat droid. See it sort of coming into focus there. With a big either photoreceptor or plug-in port there. Moving on to Lanupa, in the background of this shot you can see this floor scrubbing thing, and I'm pretty sure it's piloted by a droid. It's really hard to tell because it's so far back. Kind of see it's got a droid head. Then on the scrapyards we see this droid. It doesn't seem to match any droid I know. And then we have these ships that are droid piloted. You can see the droid head there as resisting as Fern takes over manual control. You can see it there protesting as the ship goes crazy. And then we have this, I am presuming it's a droid, this kind of scrap crushing machine. It's hard to tell because it's not like your traditional droid with two massive eyes, but it is moving, so it's not just kind of a machine, it is moving forward on its own. And just the way it kind of behaves, the fact that it, just goes ahead and attacks it. So I don't think it's a vehicle, because I think a vehicle would understand the difference between scrap and a ship, and particularly when the ship starts fighting back and trying to escape. If that was a human or other species piloting it, I think they would have the common sense to kind of shut things off and go. So the kind of mentality of I'm here to scrap, and the fact that this scrap is trying to get away and shoot at me and try and fly away doesn't register. Suggests to me that this is some kind of massive droid. Then another possibility, this kind of refining machine, just the fact that it's got these big arms and legs, possibly could be a giant droid. And then what is a giant droid is the supervisor, and I love the kind of design of this one with all the cables going into the interfaces, and it's the fact that it's kind of this giant R2 head with a big photoreceptor in the middle. You can see there just below the kind of red blue light, there's a little sort of camera photoreceptor that looks around. And then just the fact that it's got the logic that it knows from the last transmission that the Jedi, so that Jod can't be a Jedi, or at least can't be what he says he is. And then get a bit more detail as he kills it. We see these massive grasping arms come out, so it's not just a completely immobile machine, that it can do manual things. And we see as well that the safety droids are plugged into it as they go inactive when it dies. And again, that it's plugged into the power grid, so we see everything go offline once it's killed. And that is it. That is every new droid in Skeleton Crew. I'll be working on a video covering Species next, and then Andor Season 2 is just around the corner, so I'll be doing videos on that once it's done. So if you kind of like that stuff, you can hit the thumbs up and the subscribe and all that. But, no worries. Either way, just thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.